XFC welterweight Carson Hardman. Thank you, Carson, for the time today, man. I see you got the suit on. Are you at work right now?
No, if you want to know the truth here,
Yeah.
check this out. I'm still in like my PJ pants.
Okay, okay.
No, dude, I try to look up nice and I've been hanging out with my son and I was like, oh crap. So I heard you got at least got the picture, right? The part you're gonna see.
Yeah.
I'm like half-assing it right now.
Actually, you're
So
not.
no.
You're doing the opposite. You're actually more professional than basically me. You know what I mean?
No, so yeah, I try to dress up for interviews a little old school that way. So show up to work, this is work. So
I like the mindset, man. That that professionalism. I think sometimes it's lost in mixed martial arts.
to some extent, but I think that's also what gives it a diversity. Yeah, I don't do it necessarily for professionalism. This is truly who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely that's what I'm going with, and I support the uniqueness, I guess, or the creativity of MMA that way.
Where does that come from? Being, I guess, wearing the suit and tie, in a professional setting.
A lot of it's about half and half. A lot of it's with my religion. I'm part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, formerly known as Mormons, is what a lot of people know us as. And I served a mission. That's kind of like my rep around here, is the Stormin' Mormon, or the Mormon Monster for a while is kind of what I was known as here in Utah. And so there's that side of things. But I would say even more so, I guess, is just from my grandfather. Just growing up as a farmer, old school respect, just kind of cut and dry how things are. And when you show up to an interview, or when you show up to someone who's giving you the time like you are today, someone with a platform, I better show them respect. And so it's more of that than anything, I think.
I see what, the influence, man. I think that's important a lot of times when you're growing up. And I saw that, you started training at the age of 14. Talk about the first couple of years and what actually got you hooked to the sport.
Yeah, so I actually thought the sport was too violent. I remember watching like my first couple fights. I was like, dude, that's brutal. Like, that's just too much. But I loved kickboxing. I thought for whatever reason, kickboxing was I went to another gym thinking I'd go to kickboxing, and he's like, we actually don't offer that now, but this guy down the street definitely does. So I went to him. His name's Mark Balser. That's my head coach. Been with him since day one. And the reason I started looking in the first place is, skateboarding got expensive because I kept breaking all my decks. I got too fat for skateboarding. So I was like, dude, I can't be dropping $150 on a new deck, or, I could get the cheesy, crappy ones for $50, but dude, the farm ain't enough for that. So I decided to trash skateboarding and go with pounding some heads in anyways. And ever since then, like, Mark kind of taught me, like, hey, I'll teach you kickboxing, but there's this side of it too. And I got learning that side of things, and I got learning what it was about and the way that he presents it and looks at it. And I was like, I can get on board with this. And I tried it out and had like, a little studio dojo competition there just with some other kid, a little sparring session more or less. And I got hooked. I was like, I could do this. I think I want to do this. And I remember from then on out, like growing up, on lunch breaks, I'd flip on the Bellator fights or whatever UFC had on the night before, just watching all the reruns. So that's how it started.
You mentioned earlier the Mormon Monster, these monikers that you had, right? Was that something that was it something you learned to love?
I thought there was something weird about, like, I don't know, just growing up, like, I guess the saying, like, you don't kick a guy when he's down, but like that was like encouraged, or like at least hitting him, right? Like in this sport, it was like, no, you should definitely pound his face in on the ground. And so, like, to me, it was like, I just didn't understand, like, there just was no click. Definitely coming from the religious culture, that side of things though, oh brother, I can't tell you how many times I'd be out there serving or whatever, and they'd be like, you understand, like, you're okay with that. Like, we all view each other as sons and daughters of God and brothers and sisters, right? And I'm like, yeah, and what about it? I fight with my brothers and sisters all the time. Well, this time I'm getting paid for it. Like, what's the difference? So it is a little unique. It is a little different, and it's taught me a lot of respect. I always told them too, like, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and it pulled me out. Like it's been an anchor, something that keeps me strong, keeps me going, a release, a healthy outlet, rather than doing other crazy, mentally insane things that you might think about. So,
Yeah, a lot of people turn to down the wrong road in that situation, and going to the gym and punching on a bag and learning a martial art is the best way to get out of those bad
yeah, I
situations.
agree wholeheartedly. Obviously, I might be a little biased though.
Yeah, well, you're a perfect example, man. Lead by example.
Thank you.
Now, for someone that has never seen you compete, how would you describe the style you bring?
Just MMA. Like I can't say it's, I mean, I can't say it's boxing. I can't say it's, because I've tried in the gym, like straight boxing, dude, I get lit up. I'm not a good boxer. Tried kickboxing, dude, I get lit up. I'm not a straight kickboxer, but you throw it all in together, you throw the mix in, and I just think that I'm able to piece it. I'm able to be creative and pull enough in like what a mixed martial artist should be. I don't think they should be a heavy boxer and a heavy jiu-jitsu man. They should be a mixed martial artist. Um, I would say if you were to like look me up on the internet though, either under my name Carson Hardman or Carson Gregory, you would find that I do favor my hands a little bit more, but I use elbows, I love knees, I love kicks. The groundwork is something that I've always enjoyed. Um, so if that answers that question.
When you step into the cage, you're somewhat of a showman, you know? Is it like a alter ego that do you become free in there? Do you feel that?
It's more like just I don't know. It's like it's a feeling I can't explain. Like I understand that this guy's been training for 2 months to either kill me or take my head, like at least try. And so, like I don't know. Maybe there's some more veterans out there. Like when they finally come home from serving, like they probably want to relax and like go celebrate and get a little loud and cheer that with their boys or their men. Um, Same thing. Like I feel like when I win, like when the war is over, like I can just decompress, and that's just the way I decompress. Like it's like my moment. Like this was awesome. Win or lose, like this was an incredible thing, incredible opportunity that less than 1% of the world gets to participate in. And so, yeah, when you win, especially under those circumstances, it just amplifies it. It just makes it that much more exciting in my mind, in my heart. That's how I feel. So yeah, I've been considered of over celebrating at times, but it's just like who I am. Like I just get happy. So
It's your moment, man. You gotta take that
yeah, I
advantage of
just
that.
want to shine a little.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you competed this year in February. It was a quick finish right before the pandemic hit. How has COVID-19 affected your life as a fighter and as a young father?
Oh man, it's been different. God, when COVID hit, thank heavens it was after like well at least towards like the end of the school year because I was pretty much the teacher, dude. Like holy crap, like they would just pretty much post it out. Like there was no, I think the teacher would call us for like 10, 15 minutes to read my son who was in kindergarten, but like teaching him the math and like the letters, all that jazz, like that was up to me. So that was stressful. So thank heavens it happened like right after my fight where I was kind of in that in between stage. We got a little more hold on things here in Utah as far as that goes, our schooling goes. So it's been, I don't have to be teacher, Mr. Teacher anymore. As far as training goes, it's been interesting uh, in the sense that we haven't changed. And I know that sounds weird. We've done a lot more drilling and focusing on things that I can personally like. A lot of the stuff I think that fighters can improve on is just up to them drilling it like on their own time. Like they don't need a coach there. So it's ideal to have a training partner, but most of the time you can do a lot of it on your own. Um, but yeah, like there is like once a week, twice a week or whatever when you definitely probably should have some partners coming in. And so that's why we did decide for this camp to send me to another gym to get those bodies in there. But like my last camp, it was majority just me and my old man. Like if you look on my questionnaires, like it says my main training partner is the same as my main head coach. I train with my coach, and that's about it. So it's been interesting to um, go to another gym, as that's my first time ever doing that, and getting with those guys. I love those guys there. They've helped me out a ton, especially the coaching. It's been great there. They've been on board and haven't like tried to manipulate me in any way. Like they're like, okay, what's your game plan? And they've been on board with that. So training hasn't necessarily changed too much for me, other than just one day a week I'm going to another gym, which I love it there. It's the 4-7. So Jason Mertlich is the head coach over at that gym, and it's been great training under him.
So the training camp has been a mix then. Is that the difference compared to all the other training camps you've had?
Probably the biggest one. And again, it's not necessarily because of COVID as much as like we've just never had a lot of bodies, and where this is maybe a step up. I would definitely say this is a step up as far as like publicity goes. Like this is a big promotion, a bigger promotion than what I've been in. I wouldn't necessarily call them better, but definitely bigger on a bigger scale. And that being said, you got to train with, you got to step up your training game, and I don't want to be a slacker. So
Yeah, now, talking about the bigger promotion, the XFC, you got the welterweight championship tournament, not just the tournament. There's the
yeah,
belt at the end of the
yeah.
rainbow. How does this opportunity, what does this opportunity mean for you?
I honestly view it just it's just a journey. This is just part of the ride. It's not the goal. Even if I were to become UFC champion, I think that there's always like a next step. Like you see those champions where it's like they arrive
Mhm.
and they're champion for like 3 or 4 title defenses, but then it's like they lose it. And it's like, well, why? It's probably because they stopped trying to, they kind of have probably had that mentality. And I'm not trying to be critical of them because, God, that's a lot of stress on someone. But I think they kind of in their mind, they're like, oh, I made it. I'm champion. Like, I'm good now. But to me, it's another notch in the belt, like you said. Like, it's just one more step in the journey. So I'm just excited to get in there, face some guys who are more than just local level, and hopefully do well. I believe actions speak louder than words. That's not necessarily hesitant fear. That when I say that, it's more just I can talk the talk all I want, but my actions in the ring is what's gonna speak. So.
Your upcoming opponent, Bradley Desir, what is your breakdown of him and what he brings to the matchup?
He's got some good hands. Uh, he is what he is. He's I think he's 10-6 is what the record on Tapology said, and that's nothing to shake a stick at. Um, but I'm kind of indifferent. I'm indifferent to him. I look at everyone the same. Like we're all equal, and it's it just is what it is. Like I'm gonna go in there with my game plan. I don't care if he's a wrestler or it seems like he's done some Muay Thai fights before and Muay Thai training. Big deal. Again, like yeah, if this was a Muay Thai fight, I might be a little scared. But this is MMA, so I can do whatever I want, more or less. I can take it to the ground. I can slip those punches, maybe do some boxing, maybe do a little Muay Thai with him. I can do as I please. So I feel right at home. I think that it's a great matchup for both of us, to really make this a show for all the fans.
Bradley, he hasn't competed in a long time. I believe more than 2 years. Do you think ring rust will be a factor in this fight?
I don't know, man. That's difficult to say. Some people it is, other people it's not. I I don't know. I'm not him. That's a question for him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to be a betting man, I'd say there's a little bit of factor, but I wouldn't like blame that if he won or lose. Like I wouldn't put that as a factor. If he has a proper training camp, I don't think it's too big of a deal.
You have 4 first round finishes, which kind of combats that ring rust, right? Like if he has it, then you're gonna
Yeah,
come in and get that next.
it's
Do
yeah.
you,
If he's
yeah,
got it, it's not looking his way.
exactly. So
So
is that what you're expecting out of yourself? That's the performance you're expecting, is to get in there and get out of there as soon as possible.
that's the game plan with me every time. That's the whole art and science of fighting is, to hit someone and not get hit, to get in there and get out. Like you shouldn't envision yourself going the distance. You should envision I really believe it's war. Like no one, there is a clear, like even when we sign peace treaties, there's a clear winner and a loser of war. I mean, we saw that with Nazi Germany and America, like we did some horrible things. We dropped some big bombs, literally. There's a winner and a loser to that, even though there was peace. And I think it's the same thing in the ring. Like, you shouldn't look at this going to decision. You should look at this as like, I'm going to annihilate you at all costs, no matter what. So that's kind of my thoughts on that is yeah, if he's got it, too bad. And if he doesn't, then whatever.
Now, this is a tournament. Like I said earlier, there's a belt at the end. If you could give a message to the rest of the competitors in the tournament, what would that be?
Bring it. Let's go. I ain't scared. you know, here for war.